And welcome to episode 1 of Unfashionably Late. I'm Rob.
I'm Maddie.
And this week we are talking witches, bitches, and divas. So first
Oh,
up, cab off the rank. It's gonna have to be your trip to the Sydney premiere of Wicked for Good. So tell us
my
all about it.
witches, bitches, and divas, like my three favorite things. Let's start with that, right? So I was at the Sydney premiere of Wicked for Good. And oh God, movie people have so much more money to throw around at openings than theatre people. So it was great. We arrived. The exterior, the facade of Hoyt's Entertainment Quarter was basically set up like the Emerald City. You walk down a yellow brick road, through the curtains into the foyer of the theatre, which is draped in green velvet as far as the eye can see, all the step and repeats. But what got me really excited, Rob, I mean, look, for those of you who don't know me, and most of you will probably get to know me fairly quickly, I have been known to enjoy a drink or two. So when we got there, there was waiter after waiter after waiter, with tray after tray after tray of French champagne. So I was half shit-faced by the time I got into the movie. Um, but yeah, it was absolutely amazing. So we went in, had copious amounts of champagne, and there was a really good vibe around the theatre as well. They actually had a couple of cinemas opened, so we went into one, and as we walked in, they were handing us bottles of Pepsi and buckets of popcorn and all of that kind of thing. And I've got my little Wicked for Good lanyard. I'm thinking of
Nice.
wearing that. Yeah. And look, we sat down
Oh,
and
which reminds me, when they did the Little Mermaid live action premiere at the State Theatre, it was decked out and everything. And it was the same thing. Walked into the auditorium and you had your popcorn and your soda, but they also had a dinner-sized portion of sushi, which I thought was incredible for the Little Mermaid.
oh, how camp. How
Someone in PR and marketing really knew their stuff.
Oh, absolutely, they did. Absolutely.
So
Um,
what did they have at Wicked? Life-size blow-up dolls of Fiero.
oh, look, if only, and I'll tell you, Rob, I mean, we part of in part of the movie, and look, I'm not this isn't any spoilers because everyone knows the story, right? So there's no surprises in terms of the story. But when Jonathan Bailey turns into the Scarecrow, I'll tell you what, even Jonathan Bailey with a Hessian bag over his head, I wouldn't say no to.
It's
And I
gonna be it's gonna be a new kink, I swear.
Oh, 100%. Because what is it? What is the rule of the internet? What's it called? The rule is it rule 22 or rule 72 or something? If
76.
the rule
76.
76, if it exists, there's porn of it. Oh,
Oh, okay. Is that what that means?
rule 34, I just
Oh,
got
okay. All right.
by the millennial in the house.
Thanks, Ellen.
So rule 34, if it exists, there is porn of it. So expect Scarecrow and Tin Man porn, because I've always been partial to a twink as well. So I wouldn't exactly kick Ethan Slater out of bed either, just quite. Um,
Well, you know me, I'm all about the Jonathans. The
oh
Jonathan Groff, the John.
look, my close person, did I tell you that I met Jonathan Groff?
I, do, I There's something in my brain that tell the story for the
Well,
children.
it was about 2018, and I was in New York, and I went to see him in Little Shop of Horrors off Broadway, which is still playing.
That's right. Yes.
And I stage doored it afterwards. And he came out and he was ready to leave the theatre. So he came out, he was riding his bike. So he had his bike helmet on. And I got a photo with him and he told me he liked my jacket. And I took that as a proposal. And then he ghosted me and has never spoken to me since.
Oh,
But no, he was really lovely. Anyway, all the Jonathans, all the Jonathans.
yeah,
But
all the Jonathans.
Bailey is hot as, right? And
Oh,
he's so
yeah.
charismatic.
People's sexiest man alive, first LGBTQ person to get it. And apparently the same issue has a alternative cover with Cynthia Erivo on it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and she looks stunning.
She looks stunning in everything,
Yeah,
though.
but like, look at this. One of the biggest movies in the world, and all the leading cast are queer identifying in some way or another. You got Cynthia, you've got Jonathan, you got Ariana, who is an absolute ally, and brother Frankie, who's out of the closet completely and utterly. It's just, it's it's so lovely, and particularly that they're spreading this message of acceptance and be who you want to be and all that kind of stuff, like all the cheesy tropes and stuff like that. But it's fantastic. As an old bitter gay man, I find it really heartwarming.
Yeah, look, even in the special, in the One Wonderful Night special that
Oh God, that was good.
yeah, so it hasn't aired. So you must have seen a pre-release
Illegally,
copy of it because it doesn't come
yeah.
out here until next week. But I've
Well,
obviously
technically, by the time this comes out, it would have aired.
it will be out. So
Yeah,
before they do,
it's going to be in Australia. It's going to be on 7 plus.
yes, on the
Yeah,
19th of November, I think.
yeah,
So streaming from then. But obviously the D.I.V A soundtrack came out. I was on the treadmill at the gym, and then I nearly started crying halfway through it because, of course, Cynthia and Ari, I think probably both of them are shoo-ins for Oscars this year.
yes.
If they don't win, I think there'll be a riot.
What order do you think they're going to go in? Are they going to do leading and supporting, or
Yeah,
both?
yeah. They're putting them in separate categories because we're not going to
Good.
have a repeat of the Idina and Kristen Tony Award fiasco,
Yeah.
where Kristen lost to Idina in the same category. And don't get me started on Idina Menzel.
Okay. Well, look, over the next few episodes, there are going to be a fair few Adina mentions. We know that she's popular. She hit the high note and all that kind of stuff. But believe you me, go check the receipts.
Rob, she hits the high note in the studio. The
Yeah.
only time that woman can sing anything properly is in the studio because she can fucking go back in and fix her mistakes.
Yeah.
If you see her live, she's an absolute mess.
Look, I liked her pop song. I thought it was great, but then she didn't really sing in it. It was just, look, to me, remember back in the day, Jessica Simpson had her Sony career and it was all going off and she was doing, what a Dukes of Hazzard and all that kind of stuff. And I remember I was actually talking to her for an interview for a publication I used to run. And she literally said, she was like, oh, the record label doesn't actually want me to sing the way I can sing because no one can sing along with it.
Wow.
And that's kind of like Idina. She can do the belt kind of thing, not consistently,
not at all.
Look, I don't want to pull it down, but there is a rehearsal video out there, and I think I sent it to you on socials. But if you YouTube it, there's one where she's just screeching, and I don't know how she's let it go out into the public because it's terrible.
You know what another fun game is? Go on YouTube, shoppers, and put into YouTube Idina Menzel worst defying gravity ever, and it's a montage.
Yeah.
It's a montage. I've heard her sing it live. I saw her sing it live at the Adelaide Cabaret Festival. It was before Frozen came out.
Yep.
So her two big things at that point in time of her career were Wicked and Rent.
Yes.
Right. So, and I hate Rent as well. Don't get me started on Rent.
I think she suits the style of Rent.
She does suit the style of Rent, but so she had one job in that concert, and that was to belt the shit out of the riff in the end of Defying Gravity, and she didn't do it. She wore an ugly dress and no shoes, and she was very uncomfortable to watch on stage. And I don't care. And she snobbed me in the foyer a couple of hours before when she arrived for the sound check.
Oh God.
I was a wide-eyed mega fan.
Yeah.
And she literally walked in and went to walk past us to go in for the sound check that afternoon at the festival theatre. And we were very polite. We said, oh, Miss Menzel, hi, we're huge fans. We want to say hello. Can we get a photo? And she looked at us and said no and kept on walking.
Oh, wow.
And she's never had a hit since. Never.
Well, yeah, don't piss off Maddie.
No, and don't get me started on her last Broadway outing, Redwood, or also known as Idina hanging from a tree wailing for 3 hours. Jesus.
Okay. Well, now we've probably lost our 6 viewers. We'll revisit Idina Menzel in probably a tribute episode down the track and just talk all things Idina.
Yes.
But there is. We'll circle back to this in a bit, but there is another version of the Wicked musical soundtrack that we're going to talk about, which is incredible. But back to the movie. Tell us more. So you're in.
So we're in, and the credits rolled. It's apart from the first thing that struck me was probably the same feeling I got when I saw the first movie. It's just so beautifully shot. John M. Chu has done an amazing job with this film in the way that he's crafted it, the way that he's shot it, the way that it's lit, the way that the color isn't it's not like that hyper saturation like the original Wizard of Oz movie, which
Mhm.
makes it a bit more real. And I think that's the whole idea of
So
Wicked.
towards the end of the first Wicked, especially when she was doing defying gravity and flying around, there were little moments that I don't know if it was the tears running down my face or the fact that I'd been crying for 3 hours, but the CGI was a little bit noticeable to me. Is the new movie obviously CGI or does it look real?
And I thought it looked real.
Okay, cool.
I really thought it looked real. And I think the first thing that strikes you about it, apart from the way that it looks, is Ariana enters, um, sings "Couldn't Be Happier," and she just takes the character to a whole new level. Like she's got a much more character development focused arc in the second half of the musical.
Well,
Um,
that's the thing though, because the first one was all about the development of Cynthia and Elphaba.
yeah,
You know,
I
it
think
was
that
like
I
it was following her journey, whereas now um, Gerlinda has to develop her character to formulate where she sits because she was just the light, airy kind of sidekick in the first one.
yeah, and she's a lot more complicated in the second movie, and she's got a lot more conflicting emotions because she's balancing. She's living in the Emerald City in this massive pink apartment that has an amazing dressing room. P.S. Um,
There's got to be in your new house.
look, I mean,
Alan gets the green room, you get the pink room.
I'll get a picture, that's right. But yeah, so she's very, very conflicted. She's being made to stand up as a figurehead, and she kind of believes it. Um, the marriage with Fiero is kind of engineered. Um, and then
Well,
she,
she's marrying a gay man. What?
I mean, I know we keep on harking back onto Jonathan Bailey, but in the Fiero, in the Emerald City Captain of the Guard uniform, my God.
See, I've got up on my shelf there. I actually have the Mattel Jonathan in his blue and gold outfit.
And what do you do with that, Rob, when the cameras aren't rolling?
Well, I am single, so whatever I want.
Um, so I think what they could have done, though, I think they could have actually swapped the categories for the Oscar noms for this movie, and I think they could have put Cynthia in as best supporting and Ari as best lead. I think she's probably got more of a chance of getting it in best supporting.
Yeah.
Um, but uh, she's so emotive, and the way that she just sort of draws the audience in just by the look on her face. She's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Vocally, she's sounding amazing. And of course, they didn't film the second movie a year or 2 years after the first one. They
No, it was
shot
all
the
done
whole
at once, wasn't it?
in one go. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, but I think, I mean, she's even on record, and I think John M. Chu is on record as well as saying that in the second movie, she really let go and she could really lean into developing the character and understanding the character and
I
not
think
have
it feels like she
to.
kind of then had the opportunity to make it the Ariana Grande version because from my feeling, watching the first movie, she was paying homage and respect to Kristen and taking it in her own way. But Kristen did such an incredible job creating that character for the stage in the first place that I think if she didn't do an homage in a way, fans wouldn't have accepted it as the role.
No, she still put her own little spin on it, but it was very
Yeah,
respectful to Kristen's interpretation. But she really takes it to another whole nother level in the second film in Wicked for Good.
yeah.
Um, Michelle
So
Yeoh,
with the sorry, but like obviously the movie's going to be incredible. What it's like 3 hours plus.
not quite as long as the first one. It's a little bit shorter than the first one,
Okay.
but it felt like it was over within like in the blink of an eye.
Oh, okay. I heard John's also been requesting a potential re-release of both movies in a 5 hour long session theatrically because he wants people to experience the whole thing at once, which I think is a great idea. They're doing sing-alongs, they're doing all that kind of stuff. In Australia, we have an event series called Club Broadway. A few weeks ago, or the weekend we're recording this, Dan's actually holding Club Broadway in the Domain, which is going to be 10,000 plus people all singing Broadway tunes with this massive 360-degree stage and stuff like that. And he's taking the event over to London. He tours it all around Australia and New Zealand. It's just incredible. And it's such a mixed cast of people. And 90% of the people turn up as cast members from Wicked or Hamilton. So there's lots of King Georges walking around those nightclub events. Pardon me. But it's such an incredible thing. Oh, the point of mentioning Dan was that they're doing sing-alongs, and Club Broadway is actually holding screenings probably around the time that this pod goes out. So check clubbroadway.co online for any ticket details, and also future events, and you can meet other theatre heads and stuff like that. It's really great to go along and see that. And you'll notice that on Unfashionably Late, we are going to talk a lot about musical theatre because both of us have worked in it. We have covered it. We've done media. We've done performance. So over, 30 years?
Oh, look, I'm a failed theatre actor. My claim to fame is that I started musical theatre playing a fat cow in the chorus of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat in Year 5.
Funny, Joseph was my first one too, and I got to play him at the Opera House, and that was during a school, like Met School's production of it, which was pretty weird.
Well, I was a fat cow, and I tell you, that was the problem putting me in the chorus. I don't blend well.
No, even as a cow.
Not even as a fat cow. Yeah, we will be talking a lot about theatre because it's kind of what we both live for, and we see a lot of it. I mean, I'm always happy to tell people my opinion of a show, and as we all know, the only thing I love better than a good musical is a bad musical.
Yeah, exactly. And you can check out Damien's reviews on guidetogay.com. Links are going to be in the description box below on whatever platform you are watching or listening to this. So yeah, the movie's going to be great, but I want to know the dish about the event itself. Like, were there famous people there? Did you bump into anyone on the green carpet or the yellow brick road? Who was sitting in the theater? Like, usually when I go to these kind of things, Angela Bishop and Richard Wilkins are there, and there's maybe a couple of drag queens and that kind of stuff. Any quotable notables?
Look, you know what? When I looked at social media the next day, there were a whole lot of people there that I didn't see.
They were in the other theatre.
No, they were in the other theatre. We did see Richard Wilkins. I did have a lovely.
Is he wearing his leather jacket?
Yes. No, I think he's wearing a dinner suit actually. Yeah. So I did have a bit of a chin wag with Hanaconda when she was there as Alpha.
Lovely.
And she's a lovely. She's
a hoot.
She's a lovely
kid. And a half. I loved a couple of years back, Jack Whitehall, the English comedian, did Travels with My Father series. And I used to love watching those until I actually watched the Australian version and realized how manufactured the experiences are, because they got Hannah and maybe Minnie Cooper, to do like dress up him and his dad in drag. And it was so like because we know the girls, it was just like, oh my God, this is so put on. And like taking them to ARC and getting them to do a show and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. That's 2:00 in the afternoon and they've got to rent an audience in.
Yeah, absolutely.
But look, Hannah's brilliant. Obviously Drag Race now alumni, and what was the last one she was in versus Canada? UK versus the world.
Yeah, first runner up.
Yeah, doing great. Good friends with Tia Coffee now, who's doing great things as well.
Wicked premiere in London.
Yeah,
Murray saw Tia and yelled out Tia from the audience.
That's awesome.
Carpet tour, yeah.
Oh, bloody brilliant! So Hanaconda was notable.
Hanaconda was notable.
Dickie was there.
I had a lovely chat with etc. as well.
Oh, she's awesome.
She is fantastic.
Yeah, I met her at Fair Day probably 5 months ago. And I think it was either just after Down Under first came out, or it was just before. And I just went, she's got chutzpah, that one.
She's a really clever queen. And I've always loved your thinking person's drag queen. And I suppose in comparison, a couple of weeks ago, we went to one of the In the Dark international drag race tours, the Halloween thing.
Who was on the lineup for that?
Oh, look, I can't even remember. No, I can. It was Plastic Tiara,
Oh
Um,
my God, she is stunning.
yeah, yeah,
The transformation videos online
yeah.
are worth it on their own.
Le Grand Dame,
Mhm.
Kyron Thrax.
Yeah.
There was probably a bunch of others that I can't remember. Evie Oddly was supposed to do it, but pulled out just beforehand. Um, but the thing about it was, we actually didn't even stay till the end of the event. I was actually bored,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
all it was going onto the stage and being fierce and trying to be Beyonce. There was
Oh, okay. Really?
there was no intelligence behind it. It was like, let me stand on this in the middle of the stage with a big weave on and a wind machine, and let me flick my hair and show you how fierce I am.
So was it? I remember I went to one at the Roundhouse well, just before I came up to Brisbane, and it was literally 2 acts of spot numbers.
This is exactly what it was. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Look, I think when they tour in Australia, probably the Snatch Game's probably the best one because Reese Nicholson comes out and it's hosted and it's got some storyline to it and everything. Trixie Mattel's Solid Pink Disco was incredible.
Yes, I was at that
Um,
one. That was good.
yeah. So like I've been to a few, but unless I'm like, like funnily enough, I was obsessed with Susie Toot from the US seasons, even got a t-shirt, and then post the season, I'm like, oh, actually watching a few YouTube clips, I don't think I'd go to the show.
No.
Like it's weird because like individually the girl's really talented and all that kind of stuff. But if you're going to fork out nearly $100+ for a friggin' ticket for a drag show, and this is coming from me who, you and I grew up, you did drag, award-winning drag. And it's like I was around the dolls or the girls. We never called them dolls, but around the girls. And, I worked behind the scenes in the marketing aspects of it all and the production. And I'm just like, some of the girls used to do it for a drink ticket,
Oh yeah.
and it's like,
$10 for scratchy.
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. We were going to call the company Paddle Pop Sticks and Glitter.
Mm.
It's crazy how far it's come. And, another episode idea down the track is definitely a deep dive into the RuPaul's Drag Race phenomenon compared to, what happens to local queens and how people get their start and what their intentions are and all that kind of stuff. But
But look, circling back to it,
crazy.
which is where we kind of got sidetracked on that point.
Yeah. Anyway.
So what I like about her is she's clever and she's smart and she's witty and she's intelligent, and that comes across in her performances. I actually saw her and Art Simone in their show a couple of years ago in Newcastle. They did a touring show called As Seen on TV,
Yes.
and that was really clever and really funny.
They were clever as well because they did regional dates. So they did things like Yamina and Coffs Harbour and
Newcastle.
Gosford and Newey and so it wasn't just Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne,
Yeah. But she's a clever queen and she's a nice queen as well. So she sat and chatted to me for ages. And look, to be fair, I was probably the drunk old gay after the movie because we walked out and there were still trays and trays of French champagne, but then there were also two themed cocktails. So there was an Alphaba cocktail that was green and a Glinda cocktail that was pink. And then the food started coming around and
God, I can imagine if you're throwing up after that champagne green and pink.
oh,
Die.
Oh,
Not nice.
cast iron stomach, Rob. I never throw up. Sometimes I think it'd be better if I did, but
Yeah, well, it comes out one way or another.
it does.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So were there any options for us sober folks? Coke?
I think there was a water station.
A water station? Yeah.
No, I didn't really bother looking.
Didn't bother looking. Yeah.
Grabbing
the food. What is that?
Drinks off the tray.
Haven't eaten anything since 1974.
The food was delicious too. There were little sliders and little wontony things and little brioche buns and also
that's another thing. Talking about wicked food, I got sent the grilled wicked special box with like it had a green bun and beetroot, all that kind of stuff. I really wish they put lining in the box because the box itself had gold foil for wicked on it. It was just I really wanted to keep it, but it was stained with the burger juice.
Oh, so as
Yeah.
we were leaving, what they had at the exit of the theatre for people to take home were little specially themed donuts, like gourmet donuts from a place called Daniel's in World Square. They were absolutely
Ooh.
delicious. So there was an Alphaba one that was green icing, and it was stuffed with like a peppermint chocolate. On the inside, and then the Glinda one was all like pink and had glitter on top, and like a sweet custardy sort of filling in the middle of it. So they were delicious. I have actually looked up Daniels on the internet to might have to make a trip into World Square because they were absolutely delicious.
Oh, fantastic. So
Yeah.
look, Wicked's going to be out in theaters November 21 from memory.
Yes.
Um, Lots and lots of opportunities to see it. There's going to be screenings where you can sing along and all that kind of stuff. My
Yeah, see
advice,
it on the biggest screen you can.
yeah, there's what was the one on your pass? Mega Maxi's
Extreme screen.
Extreme Screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Damien's actual written review of Wicked is going to be on guidetogay.com. Link is going to be down in the description box. But that's our Wicked review for the moment. But we're going to keep on the Wicked theme for our next segment, which is, well, it's basically our favorites versus our things that we hate. But we call it red carpet or red flag. So our red carpet for this week is the Dutch
Oh,
recording.
that's right. The Dutch cast recording that I came at. So
Yes.
I have you go through my YouTube search history, and there's a lot of Define Gravity and Wicked themed searches in it, and looking at comparing different alphabet and Glinda combos from all over the world. Um, and what I stumbled across very early in the piece when I started doing this many years ago was the Dutch alphabet. Willem Vercake, I think that's how you pronounce the surname. But she is like the theatre superstar of Europe. Uh,
Mm.
she is she's played Alphabet in four different languages in different productions around the world, including the London production. She went into the London production for a period of time. She also has voiced. She does a lot of vocal recording for foreign language versions of Disney films. So she sang the Dutch, German, and a couple of other European language versions of Frozen as
Yep.
Elsa. Um, but Defying Gravity is her big thing. She is amazing, and her recording is available on Spotify. Um, it's
Which we'll
absolutely
link down below. And there's also a YouTube clip of her singing on a London rooftop, which just, when you showed it to me, we went up to David's place in Newcastle and we went to the Hunter Valley, came back, and he showed me this clip. And I was just like, oh my God. And you
yeah.
can understand why now, apart from your run in with Idina, is that this woman is the best. So,
Best in the
Cynthia is
world.
Cynthia, but for the musical theatre production versions of Wicked, wow, just stunning,
So
absolutely
do
stunning.
yourself a favor and look up the Dutch cast recording. Also on that particular record, her No Good Deed is next level. Like it will change your life. It gives you chills. And also on that recording is the only recorded version until the new soundtrack comes out of Wicked Witch of the East, which is the song that Nessa Rose does in the second act of Wicked.
Yeah,
Uh, and
I was quite um disheartened, I suppose, with the One Wonderful Night production where Nessa Rose literally only came out as Fiero in that kind of comedy number, and she didn't do any other performances that I couldn't remember.
yeah, but no, neither did
Rock,
Bach.
yeah,
Don't really.
it was pretty much sure, yeah, show like introducing either Cynthia or Ariana for each kind of number.
Yeah, yeah. There was what I forgot to tell you about the movie as well was there was a beautiful little Easter egg in the Big Nessa Rose scene in the second movie, because obviously the ruby slippers were made ruby for the 1936 movie, the original
Mm,
Wizard of Oz movie, because it was the first movie that the studio had done in Technicolor, and they thought it would pop better in the book and all the original source material. They were silver slippers.
yeah,
So Nessa Rose's slippers in the Wicked movies are silver. Um, the scene in Wicked for Good when Elphaba goes to see Nessa and enchants the slippers, and obviously she starts to fly and she sings Wicked Witch of the East. when she starts to fly, the slippers start to glow and they glow red. So it's literally like she's wearing the ruby slippers. So that was
tie back in. That's great.
yeah, little, 5-year-old me who, Wizard of Oz was always and is always my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
I
The
started
Wicked Witch of the East kind of story arc is so depressing though. Because she's in a wheelchair for the whole lot and then gets crushed by a house.
Yeah.
Like how screwed is that?
I mean, no wonder Alfie's a bit pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah. I got the animals and the monkeys. What about her sister?
Yeah, exactly.
Louise. Okay, so that was our red carpet and our red flag. I don't want to give it too much oxygen, but look, everyone's spoken about it. It's been shared over social media. This absolute moron of a YouTuber, not going to mention his name, but he's basically a gate crasher, jumps on stage, annoys artists, does it for the clicks, then goes on media and posts about and brags. Like, what mental health issue does this dude have? Like tackling Ariana Grande. And the thing that really pisses me off is that Ariana would have PTSD from that type of stuff. Like, she went through Manchester, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Like, that's a total red flag. And I think, in my opinion, some judge somewhere should black ban the thing. Then the social media platform should be ashamed of profiting off of this type of content.
Yeah. I did see today that he has been charged
Good.
in Singapore. Marissa Bode has.
And it was in Singapore and they're tough.
Yeah, and Marissa Bode has come out on TikTok this week as well with a huge big rant about it as well. On the same event, though, how fabulous and fiercely protective was Cynthia Erivo? She was ready to.
Oh, Mama Bear.
What can I say that? Can I say? Oh, you might have to bleep me.
I think I spoke over you, so that's all right.
Okay. But yeah, Cynthia was ready to go.
Yeah. She got there quicker than the security guards did.
Yeah, yeah.
But good on her. Like, those two, it's been like, I remember, first season, finger touches and all the kind of lovey stuff. And it's like, it's actually genuine. They've been through something huge together and they are literally connected and couldn't be happier. But I just think that guy's a douchebag and it's basically PewDiePie and all that kind of those types of people. Why? I don't know. Why is back in the day when YouTube first started, right? People would film stuff and it would be shocking and you go, oh my God, that's genuinely shocking. And then people just started replicating it thinking, oh, this is going to get me views and it's going to get me monetized.
Yeah.
That stuff needs to stop and YouTube needs to go, look, we're getting money from our advertising revenue partners. It needs to go to decent content, not these people that are just clickbaiting everybody. And that's all this dude is. He's just doing it for the monetization to get hit. And I don't know why you would want to make a name for yourself doing that, but
yeah,
it makes me sick to the stomach. So that's a definite red flag.
Absolutely.
All right. So we've done it. We've done our witches segment. We're now on to our bitches segment. And our bitches segment this time is literally going to be all Maddie's content because I have not seen a single episode of any of the franchises, but we're talking about Real Housewives. You're a big fan because you know half the cast from both Sydney and Melbourne, and you've spent many a time and many a red carpet at all the premieres that you've gone and covered. So give us a rundown on what's happening with Melbourne or Sydney, and have the girls actually told you anything about what's going on?
They've all been very tight-lipped about what's going on. So I did hear on the grapevine that Melbourne had been renewed, but no cast has been announced. And I have heard on the grapevine that Sydney has been cancelled, although the cast members that I know haven't confirmed that with me. They do tell me
who was I can't remember her name. She's going to have to forgive me, but wife of one of the Silverchair members.
Oh, Jackie Gillies.
Yeah, Jackie. Apparently, from what I remember, she had said that it had been cancelled.
So Jackie had a two episode guest appearance on the most recent season of Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah, so they brought her in to essentially mediate between all of the girls, and let's just say that it didn't end well. Um, but I think what is happening, they're talking about, because Bravo has started producing. They've done about 3 seasons of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, which is like a Real Housewives All Stars. So they
Oh.
pick a couple of cast members from some of the franchises and then send them on a holiday on a girls trip, and they do like a 5 episode, 6 episode sort of mini type series of that particular trip. Um, so they have done a couple of them. There is one that we haven't seen, which was um, involving some of the cast of Beverly Hills and New Jersey, and filming was stopped, and there was legal action. There were allegations of sexual assault and a whole lot of other stuff. And that series has never seen the light of day. Allegedly, there was issue between Brandy Glanville from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Caroline Manzo, who was one of the original cast members of Real Housewives of New Jersey. And that
Aren't
series.
most of the like Jersey cast either in jail or married to someone in jail or?
Well, funny you should mention that, Rob, because there's cast members from multiple franchises in jail at the moment. There's Jen Shah from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, who was very famously very nearly arrested on air. There was who else has gone to jail? Karen from Potomac is currently serving time in jail.
I didn't even know these franchises existed.
I
Oh my
watched them.
God.
I watched them all. Who else is in jail? I'm surprised some of them aren't in jail, to be totally honest with you. There's another one that's just been charged from Potomac as well, for wire fraud or something like that. Um, there was also the big Erica Jane scandal with Tom Girardi, where Tom is now serving time for defrauding victims of the plane crash. So Tom Girardi was very famously Erin Brockovich's lawyer
Okay.
in
All
real
right.
life. But went on to marry Erica Jane, funded her lavish lifestyle by siphoning off
Now I know that name because she's released music.
She
Well,
music is
music.
very loose term. If you listen to Willem and Alaska's podcast, Willem can't stand her.
Which one? Race Chaser or?
Yeah, Hot
Yeah.
Goss, the one that
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep.
show. Willem can't stand her. Said she doesn't pay designers for.
Yeah, I know. And look, that's the one thing about Willem that I've always really respected and stuff. Like, yeah, he slags off RuPaul, and you can kind of go, oh, like I've always thought, is it part put on because it helps get a bit of traction or whatever? Willem really looks after everyone, and he books everybody, pays everybody, does it. Like I've known girls that have gone over to LA, and literally Willem has given them the shirt off his back to like, something's happened at DragCon. So he's like, yeah, come over to the studio, grab what you need, blah, blah, blah. Like, spot on, Oh wow, Real Housewives is a strange kind of thing for me. Like my reality TV watching era was, Newlyweds with Nick and Jessica. I love that. The Osbournes, rest in peace, Oz.
Yeah.
Even little bit of Jersey Shore right in the beginning, but only because I met Snooki in line to meet Tori Spelling at her book signing in New York. It's the what was it? The Time Warner Center at the corner of Central Park. My ex, or one, the ex, wanted to go and meet Tori Spelling, so we lined up for 4 hours, and I took their photo and all that kind of stuff. So she's lovely. Tori Spelling was great. I loved her and her husband of the time. They had like 3 or 4 different seasons and stuff. I like it when it's someone of note that you get to see behind the scenes of what they do and how they get their career, not just someone on camera being stupid.
They kind of did a little bit of that in some of the franchises of Real Housewives, but I
Yeah,
thought,
but like I would have watched Real Housewives if it was like Lisa Rinna and other comparable people in the entertainment sphere.
Rinna was good TV. That was
Yeah.
It was great TV. So was
But I don't want to see some wife that's just the name of a criminal lawyer, just because they got money. Like, who cares?
Yeah. Look,
But it's very LA and stuff. But I'm really surprised at how many different franchises there are.
yeah, and look, the Australian franchises, look, they've been good and bad. There was also the very infamous one season of the New Zealand one, Real Housewives of Auckland, that got cancelled after a racism scandal, uh,
Wow.
where the N word was used by one of the cast on camera. Um,
Jeez.
so that was
Was
cancelled.
that produced by the same production company that did Drag Race Down Under first couple of seasons?
No, but look, don't even get me started. Um,
Yeah, we'll
but
cover that in a future episode.
Yeah, but look, I think Melbourne is still the probably the better of the two Australian franchises, mainly because the cast was so good. And when you look at Gina Liano for the first couple of seasons of Melbourne before she left, really was
She was the face of it.
she was the first
It was
housewife.
the big blue, with the boobs pushed
Yeah.
up and the huge amount of jewels and stuff. Like I remember those promos and just going, "Oh, that could be fun."
Yeah, and look, she was the first housewife to really understand and harness people power in terms of followers on social media. And I remember because I wrote a review for Guidetogay of the first season, and Gina liked it and retweeted it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then she started liking my post. Now, obviously, she had some twink in marketing who was sitting there doing a social media for her.
Which you wouldn't mind
But
anyway.
but she made sure that whenever she was mentioned in socials, that from her account,
Yeah.
it was liked. And it really got the fans on side. And she started the whole hashtag Team Gina thing. And like she was getting bullied in that first season,
Yeah.
and really ended up calling the shots of the entire production.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
we realized
Gina
there
was,
was no series without Gina.
yeah, well, Gina probably was one of the first pioneers of what we now call parasocial relationships.
Mm,
It's that thing of like you engage with people on social media that you've never met, that we used to call them in the biz red dot fans.
yeah.
Like, you go to an in-store and they'd be at every single one. Some of them will be psychopathic. I could get off the plane in Sydney and I can go to a gig, and I can guarantee that the first 10 people in every single autograph queue or photo queue are the same people, because they're either obsessed with just getting pictures of them with celebrities, or they're a bit funny in the head.
Yeah.
So, but okay, so bitches done and dusted. Housewives, I think, where do they air in Australia?
Binge and Foxtel.
That's also probably why I don't watch them, because I don't like Foxtel.
Mm.
Okay, so, well, going back, I just wanted to mention on the whole Bravo thing, because they're the EPs of Housewives. There's this thing called BravoCon.
Yep, that's on at the moment in Vegas.
Yeah, and it's huge. It's like
Mhm.
it's probably the same size as D23 for Disney.
Yeah.
Just insane.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I used to love Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper and all that lot until what they did to Kathy Griffin, and I was just like, nah. Even watch What Happens Live. Cher and Bette Midler could be having a fight on that show, and I still won't watch it because of what Andy did.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Okay, so we're on to our Divas segment, which is our third and final for this episode 1. Thanks for staying along with us if you've watched or listened thus far. Divas we're gonna kick it off with a bit of a sad note. We lost one of our icons in Sydney drag, Mogadonna, recently. Moggie was a mainstay of the Sydney scene. She was a great producer, a great performer, scary as shit. She used to scare the hell out of me.
Oh,
As a young 17-year-old boy working with drag queens on Oxford Street, I was in awe and I was scared until I got to produce a marketing campaign that I chose Moggie for Broadway Shopping Centre. And it was one of the first mainstream big conglomerate shopping centres that allowed a drag queen into their marketing, which was then plastered all over mainstream press, in the major papers, on television. I got to design and direct it. Cameron Muir from CMP shot the shots. And it was basically Moggie in this pearl oversized sequin gown, blonde hair, holding a case of VB with a shopping trolley, a boy in a suit and tie pushing the shopping trolley full of all the products from all the different stores. And she was a pleasure to work with. Um, Having said that, get her after a few drinks at the Aubrey or down at Annie's bar. My God.
So when I was a baby drag queen, freshly arrived in Sydney and didn't really know who was who or what was what, I did the talent quest circuit because that's how you kind of got started.
Mhm.
And I made what I found out was the mistake in the first round of the Albury talent. And I think was it Simone Troy that used to host the Monday night talent quest at
Was it in the front bar or cabaret
oh,
bar?
front bar?
Front bar. Yeah, it was Simone.
Yeah.
Because
So
Hugh did the back in
yeah,
the
okay.
cabaret.
Simone's Monday Night Talent Quest. Um, I made the mistake of doing Diana Ross, the boss, and found out later that was Mogadonna's number. Moggie owned that number. She did a very legendary Mardi Gras show to the boss,
Yeah.
and Mogadonna happened to be in that night.
Okay.
And all I remember was working.
Were you wearing the white gloves?
What was I wearing?
You would have made it yourself, definitely,
Yeah, I
because
think it was a
you
blue
said
thing with
everything.
white detailing, so I probably would have actually had white gloves on.
Yeah.
Anyway, Moggy was sitting at the bar, right in front of the stage like this for the whole number.
Bitch stole my number.
It's on my number. And then like the whole room was like quiet. They were looking at
Oh,
Moggy, they were
wow.
looking at me, looking at me. Anyway, she never said anything to me
And
about it.
off to Polly's Follies you go.
Did Polly's. But then fast forward a couple of years, when I was working at Home Nightclub, when Home Nightclub first opened, and we used to do Sunday nights at home. I think it was,
Oh, Tootsie still has that little cow puppet.
oh wow, really?
Yeah. It's really a mate of ours. If you go onto Instagram, his handle is Craig on Toast. And you'll get to see. He's really funny. Craig does a lot of activism and stuff for mental health services, and he does a lot of work in TV commercials. So you've probably seen him all over your TV and in press ads and things like that. Absolute lovely guy. But Craig and Maddie used to do the gig at home. I think it's mainly with Claire DeLune and Verushka Darling, wasn't it? Yeah. And that's when Home at Darling Harbour was like the mega club,
Just open, yeah.
and when it first opened. So yeah, they were great. But keep on with your story.
But yeah, so it was. I think it was either an Australia Day night or an Anzac Day night or something. I was doing, and I used to do a number on the bar in the cocktail bar upstairs early for like before the big room opened up downstairs.
Was that in the bow of the ship
Yeah,
bar?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And they used to lift us up onto the bar, which was about that wide.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd made this pink camouflage outfit, and I was doing Bette Midler's Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy on the stage, and then
Was that with the red hair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. God.
And then Moggy walked in pink camo as well, in the middle of my number, just there as a patron of the club that particular night. Anyway, I got off the stage. I went to walk out, and she was standing there, and she's looked at me and she smiled and she said, "You were good."
Yeah.
And then
she wasn't actually a very chatty person.
no.
She could cut through you with a glare. She could say a couple of words and just lift you up. I remember as she passed, there was a tribute event in Sydney. Amelia Airhead and a few others kind of restored some of the shows that she did at Mardi Gras. So you can see them on YouTube. I'll pop them in the links as well. But one of the best tributes that I read was from one of my favorite people in Sydney, Colleen Windsor. Now, Colleen is a Diva Hall of Famer. She used to be on the board of Divas. We'll talk about Divas in a minute. But Colleen is probably the grande dame of Aussie drag. She knows everything. She's a walking history book, and she put together the most amazing tribute. I'll link that down below as well. If you want to learn about Mogadonna or any of the kind of you know, it's age me, but all the stuff that happened around my era of, you know, the 90s onwards, it's incredible to see how, like, Sydney drag hasn't come far. It's always been far.
Yeah.
The performers that we've had have gone on to do reality shows like Drag Race and things like that, have been, you know, I would say foul-balled about things because of cheap-ass production. And, you know, there are things that didn't play in their favor. And, you know, I could go on and on. You know, Drag Race Down Under is what it is. And it's, you know, it's going to go on to do Drag Race versus the World, all that kind of stuff. But go and see, like, come to Australia, go and see a show. It's its own type of drag. It's not fembot realness. Like, yeah, sure, we've got look queens and all that kind of stuff. And the more Drag Race gets played, the more younger kids are starting to do that type of drag. But the old school, real, you know, 3-cast production show numbers that are well thought out, that there's mix of, you know, spoken word and audio and everything was cut together. And, you know, you'd have people like David Hiscock, who was the DJ at the Newtown Hotel, that would, you know, put all the recordings together and work with Amelia Earhart and Mitzi McIntosh and Vanessa Mungle Bitch and all these incredible icons that we grew up with. You know, I remember going to the Imperial and standing in for Chris, who was the lighting tech, and doing the follow spots for Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. You know, you watch that movie and there's Rose Leaf and Portia Turbo, who are actual Sydney drag queens in that movie, you know, waving the bus off from the Imperial. And that was the scene. You know, Portia was a mainstay, you know, still does, runs a drag queen bingo business across New South Wales. Like, just come to Sydney and experience it for yourself, because what you get on television, although most of it's fabulous in its own right, is nothing compared to what you're going to get in the bars.
Venues, yeah. Yeah.
So in Sydney, we have a awards night every year celebrating the drag industry, called the DIVA Awards, the Drag Industry Variety Awards, and they were recently held, I think, at the Roundhouse, or was it South's? One of those venues. It was held for many, many years by the original committee, which included Colin Windsor and Dot Dingle and Penny Clifford and Ian Jobson, and, you know, excuse me if I forgot a few other people, but it then kind of stopped for a year or two, and then was sold on to Sheila Blige. And Sheila engaged me, and I was creative director for 4 seasons of it. So developing the brand and doing all the, you know, event stuff and all the transitions at the awards and all that kind of thing. So I was involved with it quite heavily, doing all the technical and production side. But this year, our winners, I just want to do a quick run through. Sydney's favourite DJ was Dan Murphy. Sydney's favourite drag hostess was Jackie Daniels. Sydney's favourite drag show was Dogs. Sydney's favourite pub event was Jackie Daniels Trivia. Sydney's favourite drag artist was Ruby Royale. Sydney's favourite venue was the Imperial Hotel. Sydney's favourite male performer is Eli Crawford. Outstanding technical contribution was Betty Blackheart. Community award went to Tim Milgate, who was one of the second round DIVA establishing members along with Sheila. Tim is an incredible guy, did a huge job. He wasn't told that he was going to get the award, so it was a huge shock for him. You can see it online. It was a beautiful acceptance speech. Belle of the Ball was Charlemagne. Beau of the Ball, Kevin in the City. Show of the Year, Dogs. Diva Rising Star, Fair Enough. Entertainer of the Year, etc., etc. And Hall of Fame inductee, one of my most favourite people in the entire universe, was Ashley Swift. Now, the weird thing about divas is that a fair few of the categories are actually public voted, and they're all done by show name. And I don't know about you, but hardly ever does a general punter remember what the show's called. They know who the queens are. They know what the songs were. They know what the costumes were. They don't know. It was like, oh, that's, you know, Maddie's show on a Saturday night at Annie's bar. They don't remember it was called Cho Cho San. So that's my little gripe with divas and how the awards are done. But congratulations to all the winners. Some of them I don't know. The other thing I wanted to mention is that Eli won favourite male performer, and it's great because I think Eli identifies as male, But he's a drag queen. It's a like just without a chest plate.
Yeah, and look, I think it's a topic for another day. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think what drag is now is very different to what drag was.
Yes. And we're
Back
still like Divas is still doing the categories from pretty much when it started. So it might be time for a revisit. But look, it's an incredible event for the fact that it brings a community together, because you know that 4 hours later that they're at the after party off chops ripping each other to shreds anyway, all with love and care, of course.
naturally,
But
yeah.
look, Sydney drag queens are fantastic because it's the destination for lots of regional queens, you know, Newcastle, Wollongong, Penrith, Blue Mountains, all that kind of stuff, even interstate. The thing I've liked about Drag Race Down Under is that it's actually shone a spotlight on Melbourne drag, because Melbourne's a slightly smaller scene, even though it has incredible queens. I can't tout Australian drag enough. Don't take everything on television for what it actually is. The TV performances individually can be fantastic. I think I've already said that, but you know, give Aussie drag a go. Go Google it. You know, all the 16 to whatever age young girls in America that are drag race fanatics that think they know everything and that they're the walking encyclopedia about what drag is. Go do your research and stop judging things because you have no clue. Go see it. It's on YouTube. People like Minnie Cooper are putting up old clips all the time. Just hashtag search it and do yourself a favor and get educated. So on that note, we've done our divas.
We're at the end of our first episode.
We're at the end of our first episode, and we'll be back in a fortnight.
Thanks for not turning us off.
Our socials are going to either appear on screen or down in the comment section below. Mine's Robs_wild_world, and Maddie, yours is
@_ hello shoppers.
And you can see us and our journalistic work all the time on www.guidetogay.com, because Unfashionably Late is the official, unofficial podcast of guidetogay.com. And we will see you in a couple of weeks. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, because we're not weekly. We're going initially every 2 weeks. It'll send you a notification when we're up, so you don't miss a beat. And it means we don't have to keep on flogging everybody on social media to go, come and watch my podcast.
But we will.
Till next time.
See you next fortnight.
Yeah. Bye.